Welcome to the 2300 Pick Six podcast. I'm your host, Dave Walker, about to do another edition of Where DWALK Was Right and Where DWALK Was Wrong, and later on, Week 12 picks. Trayvon Henderson scores three. Oh, sorry. So there were, we'll scratch it out. So a lot of rights, a little bit of wrong, but mostly rights this week. So we'll start off with the first game, which is Patriots-Jets, which I got right picking the Patriots. Trayvon Henderson scores 3 touchdowns. Patriots beat Jets 27-14 for 8 straight wins. The Patriots were prepared to give Coach Mike Vrabel time to establish a new culture for a team that had won just 4 games each of the last 2 seasons. Mike Vrabel is doing a damn good job coaching the Patriots. They're at 9-2, which I did not see coming. I did have them, I think when I did the schedule analysis of the team, I think I had them in a wild card losing it. But now how they've been playing, yes, I know they've been playing easy teams, but they've had 2 signature wins against the Bills and against last week, 2 weeks ago against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, they don't play another hard team again. Not until they play Buffalo again, which they could possibly get a sweep. And then maybe Baltimore, pending where their Ravens is. I think the Ravens record will be at 500. But this is a team that is doing very, very good using Trayvon Henderson. I'm going to tell you this. Even though Ramondre Stevenson is out, I don't think Ramondre Stevenson is going to get that job back anytime soon. But the Patriots have been doing good, going in the air with Stephon Diggs, going to Hunter Henry, Trayvon Henderson, and the defense is putting up numbers too. So if I were Robert Kraft, I would sign Stephon Diggs maybe to another year or a 2-year deal because of the veteran leadership he is displaying with the Patriots. For the Jets, we already know they're on the clock. I know next week when they play against Baltimore, they will have Tyrod Taylor as their starter because Justin Fields is now done. Even though he tried to give it to good old college, tried to get the win, it wasn't enough, and the Patriots got the dub, which was nearly needed. But a breakdown out of this game. Justin Fields, 5-yard rush. Trayvon Henderson, 7-yard run. Trayvon Henderson, 7-yard rush. Trayvon Henderson, 6-yard pass from Drake May. John Mechie, the third, 20-yard pass from Justin Fields. Andy Borregales, 44-yard field goal. Andy Borregales, 44-yard field goal. Leaders for the Patriots. Drake May, 25 of 34, 281 yards and a touchdown. Trayvon Henderson, 19 carries, 62 yards for 2 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs, 9 catches for 105 yards. Leading sacker for the Patriots was Christian Barmore with 1 sack. And leading tackler for the Patriots was Robert Spillane with 5 tackles and 9 solo ones. For the Patriots, their next opponent is against who the Patriots play this week? Checking now. For the Patriots, their next opponent is against the Cincinnati Bengals. As for the Jets, they play the Ravens on Sunday. Next game I got right and wrong is Dolphins Commander, which I got right picking Miami. Jones celebrates in Cristiano Ronaldo style as Dolphins beat Commander 16-13 in overtime in Spain. Jack Jones had a fitting celebration after his overtime interception in the first NFL regular season game in Spain. This was a game that was neck and neck, almost could have been decided either way. It went to overtime, which I didn't expect it to be. Very good game, even though the Dolphins are trying everything in their power to – technically, they're not mathematically eliminated just yet. They are still in the hunt right now for a playoff spot, but they're doing everything they can to keep McDaniel's job safe for the moment because I still think he is going to get fired at the end of this season. So I don't know what's going to happen, but they're trying to do everything in their power. Washington is still same old fucking Washington. Even with Jaden out, even with Marcus Mariota, they still cannot get the job done. Not that much talent on the team. Yes, you have Deebo Samuel. There was no Terry McLaurin. The defense could try his best, but it was not enough to win in overtime when Marcus Mariota threw an interception, which sealed the win for the Miami Dolphins. But a breakdown out of this game. Riley Patterson, 46-yard field goal. Matt Gay, 26-yard field goal. Riley Patterson, 39-yard field goal. Matt Gay, 30-yard field goal. Deebo Samuel, 20-yard pass from Marcus Mariota. Ollie Gordon, 1-yard rush. Riley Patterson, 29-yard field goal in overtime for the win. Leaders for the Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa, 14-20, 171 yards. Devin Akane, 21 carries, 120 yards. Jalen Waddle, 3 catches for 52 yards. Leading sacker for the Dolphins was Tyrell Dotson with 1 sack. Leading tackler for the Dolphins was Jordan Brooks with 20 tackles and 10 solo ones. For the Washington Commanders, they are on their bye week. They will be playing up against the Denver Broncos. For the Miami Dolphins, they're on their bye week. They will play up against the New Orleans Saints. Next game I got right and wrong is Bengals Steelers. Unfortunately, I got wrong picking the Bengals. Steelers run past Bengals 34-12, but lose Aaron Rodgers to a left wrist injury, alleged wrist injury. And the reason I say is because I'm going from a personal experience with Aaron Rodgers, where the infamous Dez didn't catch it, where he lied and said he had a calf injury, and when he was moving pretty good on his calf. So I'm saying the exact same thing. He is lying again. I think his wrist is fully healed. There's not a damn thing wrong with him. And there's the possibility come Sunday he's going to torch the Bears like he always does when he was with the Packers, and saying, I still own the Bears even before he retires. But a breakdown out of this game. The Steelers look good in this game with their defense, with their offense. Aaron Rodgers allegedly got injured, and I'm saying air quotes because I don't know if this is a legitimate injury, if it's going to be Mason Rudolph, or if it is going to be Aaron Rodgers. We'll wait and see what occurs. But they did a good job running the ball, going in the air. Defense did a good job holding Jamar Chase in check, which Jamar Chase did get suspended for this game for one game for spitting on Jalen Ramsey, even though he says he did not. Jalen Ramsey got 3 out, but he did not get suspended. He will be eligible to play against the Bears. For the Bengals, even with Joe Burrow coming back, I think they will lose to the Patriots when I talk about that game a little later on. I think it is officially over, and even if you bring Joe Burrow back, it's not going to be enough. If I were the Bengals, you know what? Just declare him out for the season, have him ready for next year, because it is over for Cincinnati. I don't see them pulling off any more wins here. They're not going anywhere, unfortunately. So that would be my advice to the Bengals. But a breakdown out of this game. Kenneth Gainwell, 11-yard pass from Aaron Rodgers. T. Higgins, 28-yard pass from Joe Flacco. 2-point run conversion failed. Chris Boswell, 25-yard field goal. And McPherson, 43-yard field goal. Chris Boswell, 30-yard field goal. Kyle Duggar, 73-yard interception return for a pick 6. There was no scoring in the third. Oh, this was the third quarter. Fourth quarter. Evan McPherson, 48-yard field goal. Kenneth Gainwell, 5-yard pass from Mason Rudolph. James Pierre, 34-yard fumble recovery for a scoop and score. Leaders for the Steelers. Mason Rudolph, 12 of 60 on a touchdown, 127 yards. Jalen Warren, 10 carries, 62 yards. Kenneth Gainwell was the leading receiver with 7 catches for 2 touchdowns, 81 yards. Leading sacker for the Patriots, for the Steelers was Nick Herbig with 1 sack, and leading tackler was Patrick Queen with 5 solo tackles and 10 tackles. For the Steelers, they play against the Chicago Bears on Sunday. For the Bengals, they play against the New England Patriots on Sunday. Next game I got right and wrong is Chargers-Jaguars, which I got wrong picking Jacksonville. Picking to Chargers, not Jacksonville. Jaguars rebound from historic loss with a dominant 35-6 win against Chargers. Trevor Lawrence received an unusual photo request in the locker after one of the most enjoyable victories of his Jacksonville Jaguars tenure. A game I'm shocked that the Chargers did not dominate how Jacksonville played after blowing a lead against Houston. And I thought the Chargers would have took advantage and won this game. But no, it looked like the Chargers didn't even show up to play in this game. They didn't show up. It looked like it went back to old Chargering. I think they got way cocky. And now you are in your division where you have to compete with Denver. Kansas City, maybe, even though we'll talk about Kansas City, Denver when we get to that game. But Jacksonville dominated that game very, very well in this game, and they did a damn good job. And I'm also going to say this for Jacksonville. I know that Dynamite starts in 15 minutes. Tony Khan, if you happen to be listening to this right now, you better hope Ty J wins tonight. I hope you do, because if not, come Saturday at Full Gear, if Mercedes happens to beat Chris, I will riot and I will hop that barricade. It will happen. So hear me and hear me good if you are listening to this. But a breakdown out of this game. Cameron Dicker, 41-yard field goal. Bashal Tootin, 4-yard rush. Cameron Dicker, 46-yard field goal. Travis Etienne Jr., 2-yard rush. Trevor Lawrence, 1-yard rush. Tim Patrick, 1-yard pass from Trevor Lawrence. Travis Etienne Jr., 13-yard pass. No scoring in the fourth quarter. Leaders for the Jaguar. Trevor Lawrence, 14-22, a touchdown, 153 yards and an interception. Byron Tootin, 15 carries, 74 yards and a touchdown. Jacoby Myers, 5 catches for 64 yards. Leading sacker for the Jaguars, Eric Armstead with 1, and Foye Oluokun had 5 tackles and 3 solo ones. For the Jaguars, their next opponent is against the Arizona Cardinals. For the Chargers, their next opponent is against the Raiders on November the 30th. They are on their bye week, which they're going to need it pretty good now. Next game I got right and wrong is Bucs-Bills, which I got right picking Buffalo. Josh Allen has 3 touchdown passes, 3 rushing to outduel Baker Mayfield as Bills beat Bucs 44-32. Josh Allen wasn't in I told you so mood after he threw 3 touchdown passes and ran for 3 scores. This was a game the Bills needed to bounce back, even though I know at times without Dalton Kincaid, Josh Allen struggles, but in this one he didn't struggle. He threw for 3 touchdown passes and he ran for 3, literally getting a good victory they needed to keep pace with the New England Patriots. Now they have a game on Thursday night against the Houston Texans, going on a short week. See if they can get that win. Unfortunately, I don't think Kincaid's going to play in that one. They'll probably use Dawson Knox, but they're going to need every win they can to muster to try to keep pace with the Patriots. As for the Buccaneers, right now you're on a 2-game losing streak, and there's the part right now you are almost led to the point where Carolina can come back and try to squeak in and get the division. Even though, yes, Carolina did win against Atlanta, which I'm going to talk about when we cross that bridge when we get to that game. But Tampa Bay is going to need a lot of help right now because you have no Mike Evans, you have no Chris Godwin, you have no Bucky Irving, and they're going to need everything in their power to try to win these games because they have a tough one Sunday night against the LA Rams. And if they happen to lose to the Rams and the Panthers somehow pull off an upset against the 49ers on Monday night, we're going to have a key divisional battle for first place in this division between those two. But we're going to wait and see when we cross that bridge and see what occurs. But a breakdown out of this game. Chase McLaughlin, 23-yard field goal. Josh Allen, 2-yard rush. Baker Mayfield, 4-yard rush. Tyler Shavers, 43-yard pass from Josh Allen. Sean Tucker, 43-yard rush. Ty Johnson, 50-yard pass from Josh Allen. Chase McLaughlin, 24-yard field goal. Sean Tucker, 6-yard rush. Matt Prater, 39-yard field goal. James Cook III, 25-yard pass from Josh Allen. Sean Tucker, 28-yard pass from Baker Mayfield. Josh Allen, 5-yard rush. Josh Allen, 9-yard rush. Leaders for the Bills, Josh Allen, 19-33, touchdown, 2 interceptions for 317 yards. James Cook, 16 carries, 48 yards. Tyreek Shavers, 4 catches, 1 touch for 90 yards. Leading sacker for the Bills was Daquan Jones with 1 sack, and leading tackler for the Bills was Jordan Poyer with 15 tackles and 7 solo ones. For the Bills, their next opponent is on Thursday night against the Houston Texans. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their next opponent is against the LA Rams on Sunday Night Football. Next game I got right and wrong is Bears-Vikings, which I got right picking the Bears. Bears beat Vikings 19-17 with game-ending field goal set up by Duvernay's 56-yard kickoff return. The Chicago Bears have built their breakthrough season on the simplest and most effective way to win with a work-in-progress quarterback. Our turnover margin has become the envy of the league. Right now, the Bears have been playing good football, and everybody thought the Bears would be better than they are. Yeah, they are. I did not think so. I didn't think the Bears would be having a winning record. And right now, possibly now in the contention of fighting for the division right now, probably first place, because they're doing everything in their power to fight for a wild card spot and first down in their division because they're winning game with their special team, with their defense, with their turnover margin. Caleb Williams has been doing his thing. He's been doing okay. Same with Swift, Kamanungai, Romeo Odunze, and DJ Moore and CJ DJ. So they're doing everything in their power to try to win these games. As for the Vikings, what you saw out of last week, everybody thought when they beat Detroit in that phenomenal win against them, they still cannot win at home. J.J. McCarthy has not gotten his first home win in Minnesota. He struggles at home. I don't know what it is, but on the road, he does look a lot better. But Minnesota is going to have a lot of work to do if they want to try to get a wild card and see what they can do. But a breakdown out of this game. Will Riker, 31-yard field goal. Kamanungai, 1-yard rush. Cairo Santos, 38-yard field goal. Cairo Santos, 54-yard field goal. Cairo Santos, 33-yard field goal. Jordan Mason, 16-yard rush. Jordan Addison, 15-yard pass from J.J. McCarthy. Cairo Santos, 48-yard field goal. Leader for the Bears was Caleb Williams, 16-32, 193 yards. DeAndre Swift, 21 carries, 90 yards. Cole Kmet, 5 catches, 45 yards. No sacks by the Bears. Leading tackler for the Bears was Noah Sewell with 10 tackles and 4 solo ones. For the Bears, their next opponent is against the Pittsburgh Steelers. For the Vikings, their next opponent is on November 30th, is against the Packers this Sunday. Next game that I got right and wrong is Texans-Titans, which I got right picking Houston. Davis Mills leads Texans to 16-13 win over Titans on Wright's game-ending field goal. The Houston Texans keep digging early holes for themselves, with Davis Mills filling with while C.J. Stroud is in concussion protocol. They put together back-to-back comeback victory. Well, their first comeback victory, they were literally almost dead in the water, and nobody thought they would come back, and they pulled off the comeback that nobody saw coming. Against the Titans, you really shouldn't have been put to that point because the Titans are not a very good football team. Yes, they are already on the clock. They're now 1-9, and they're going to be needing a lot of work to do come next year when they go in the draft. For Houston, they're doing this without C.J. Stroud, who is still in concussion protocol. He will not be playing this Thursday against the Bills. So this is going to be a little bit of a test for Davis Mills. He's going to be playing a very, very good Bills team who are right now trying to fight for first place in their division and are very, very hungry right now. So his work is going to be cut out for him tomorrow night. But a breakdown out of this game: Joey Sly, 56-yard field goal. Joey Sly, 47-yard field goal. Nico Collins, 3-yard pass from Davis Mills. Matthew Wright, 41-yard field goal. Matthew Wright, 43-yard field goal. Van Jefferson, 4-yard pass from Cam Ward. Matthew Wright, 35-yard field goal. Leaders for the Texans were Davis Mills, 26 of 41, 274 yards and a touchdown. Woody Marks, 18 carries for 44 yards. Nico Collins, 9 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown. Leading sackler for the Texans was Daniel Hunter with 1.5 sacks. And leading tackler for the Texans was Miles Bryant with 9 tackles and 4 solo ones. For the Texans, their next opponent is on Thursday night against the Buffalo Bills. For the Titans, their next opponent is against the Seahawks. Next game that I got right and wrong is Panthers-Falcons, which I got wrong picking the Falcons. Bryce Young passes for franchise record 448 yards to lift Panthers to 30-27 win over Falcons in OT. Bryce Young fought off the criticism that accompanied his modest 124-yard passing in an ugly loss to New Orleans last week. At the point, I was thinking it was same old Panthers yet again because they shouldn't have lost to the Saints, who are not that very good of a football team. But Bryce Young overcame that criticism, literally sweeping the Atlanta Falcons, came back and won this game, and has now have the team back over 500 yet again. They're doing this good with a very good running game in Rico Dow and Chuba Hubbard. Defense is doing good. As for Atlanta, I think it's already over for them right now. Michael Penix is out for the season. Drake London is not going to be available for the next game when they play next week. They are going to need a lot of help, and I think they really need to fire Raheem Morris because he was already on my coaching hot seat already, and I think really he needs to go because he was not a good head coach, and I never thought he was a good head coach coming in. But if the Falcons, I'd say right now, come next year or fire this man midseason because the Atlanta is going to need a lot of help come next year. But a breakdown out of this game. Tetairoa McMillan, 7-yard pass from Bryce Young. Bijan Robinson, 4-yard rush. Bijan Robinson, 1-yard rush. Tyler Algier, 1-yard rush. Ryan Fitzgerald, 29-yard field goal. Xavier Legette, 36-yard pass from Bryce Young. 2-point conversion failed. Ryan Fitzgerald, 34-yard field goal. Zane Gonzalez, 52-yard field goal. Tetairoa McMillan, 12-yard pass from Bryce Young. Bryce Young pass to Jalen Cook for 2-point conversion successful. Zane Gonzalez, 45-yard field goal. Ryan Fitzgerald, 28-yard field goal in overtime. Leaders for the Panthers were Bryce Young, 31 of 45, 3 touchdowns, 48 yards. Rico Dow, 19 carries, 45 yards. Tetairoa McMillan, 8 catches, 130 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Leading tackler for the Panthers was Trayvon Moehrig with 11 tackles and 6 solo ones. For the Carolina Panthers, their next opponent is on Monday Night Football against the 49ers. For the Atlanta Falcons, their next opponent is against the New Orleans Saints on Sunday. Next game that I got right and wrong is Packers-Giants, which I got right picking the Packers. Jordan Love throws 2 touchdown passes as Packers beat Giants 27-20 to end their skid. Trailing early and having lost their last 2 games, the Green Bay Packers could have been in real trouble when quarterback Jordan Love took a big hit to his left shoulder and jogged inside for further evaluation. Yes, Jordan Love did suffer a brief injury with his shoulder. They had Malik Davis in there. He held the fort down to keep to keep the Packers into it. Jordan Love did come back, and then he got the win, which they needed badly because I said when me and Joe Law said that I thought that the Packers were on upset alert due to the Giants had already fired Brian Gable. They had a new head coach. Jameis Winston was starting, and I thought they were a little bit on upset alert, but they did not. They got the win and squeaked by, which they needed to try to keep pace with Detroit and with Chicago to keep their playoff hopes alive. As for the Giants, I don't know who their new head coach is going to be, if it is going to be Kafka or they're going to look for someone. And I know a lot are getting on about Cam Scadaboo being at Raw. First of all, and with the Giants being at Raw, first off, you shouldn't have been there. Your record is 2-9, first off. Number 2, you really shouldn't have been picking a fight with J.D. McDonough or Dominic Mysterio and with the Judgment Day because they are trained fighters and you are recovering from an injury, pal. And that could have been a lot worse if you would have gotten the face of either Paul Heyman, CM Punk, or whomever. But watch where you are in your surroundings, even though, yeah, I know what Raw is, but be careful. But a breakdown out of this game. Devin Singletary, 5-yard rush. Christian Watson, 1-yard pass from Malik Willis. Lucas Haversick, PAT, failed. Manuel Wilson, 11-yard rush. Devin Singletary, 2-yard rush. Younghoe Koo, PAT, failed. Josh Wall, 2-yard pass from Jordan Love. Lucas Haversick, PAT, failed. Jameis Winston, 1-yard rush. Younghoe Koo, kick was good. Christian Watson, 17-yard pass from Jordan Love. Jordan Love passed Emmanuel Wilson for 2-point conversion successful. Leaders for the Packers, Jordan Love, 13-24, 174 yards and 2 touchdowns. Emmanuel Wilson, 11 carries, 40 yards and a touchdown. Romeo Doubs, 4 catches, 53 yards. Micah Parsons, 1.5 sacks. And leading tackler was Isaiah McDuffie with 11 tackles and 5 solo ones. For the Packers, their next opponent is against the Minnesota Vikings. For the Giants, they play against the Detroit Lions on Sunday. Next game I got right and wrong is Rams Seahawks, which I got right picking the Rams. Rams have 4 interceptions. Seahawks missed long field goal on final play in Los Angeles 21-29 win. On 21-29, okay, 21-29 win. The Rams made 4 interceptions, and they kept Seattle out of the end zone for the first 57 and a half minutes. Los Angeles offense scored 3 touchdowns against the Seahawks, 1 at defense. This was a key divisional battle as best. Both of these teams were fighting for first in their division, and the Rams got the win, holding on with their defense, with their special team. And if Seattle would have got that field goal, they would have got the win, but they missed it, keeping the Rams in first place with Matthew Stafford playing outstanding football, almost as an MVP candidate. Kyron Williams playing good, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. The defense did very, very well, getting 4 interceptions, and I thought it was a bend-don't-break defense. I still think it is a bend-don't-break defense, but the Rams are doing everything in their power to get first place and to try to move up to that either that 2 or that 1 seed to see if they can get a bye in the playoffs, where the road to the Super Bowl would have to run through L.A. But we'll wait and see what happened with the Rams down the road. As for the Seahawks, Sam Darnold had a very bad game in L.A. He doesn't do good down there. This is the second time in L.A. he messed up, and now he's going to have a tougher one again. The Seahawks, will they still make the playoffs? I think they still will. They probably might be as maybe a 5 or a 6 or a 7, but they have a lot of work to do. But that defense, you can't underestimate it. They do have a good defense. But we'll wait and see what happens with Seattle down the road. But a breakdown out of this game. Kyron Williams, 1-yard rush. Jason Myers, 57-yard field goal. Devontae Adams, 1-yard pass from Matthew Stafford. Jason Myers, 30-yard field goal. Jason Myers, 22-yard field goal. Jason Myers, 29-yard field goal. Colby Parkinson, 6-yard pass from Matthew Stafford. Kenneth Walker, the third, 1-yard rush. Leader for this for the Rams. Matthew Stafford, 15-28, 2 touchdowns, 130 yards. Kyron Williams, 12 carries, 1 touchdown, 91 yards. Puka Nacua, 7 catches, 75 yards. Cam Curl, 9 tackles and 9 solo tackles and 11 tackles. For the Rams, their next opponent is on Sunday Night Football against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. For the Seattle Seahawks, their next opponent is against the Tennessee Titans. Next game I got right and wrong is 49ers Cardinals, which I got right picking the 49ers. Brock Purdy throws 3 touchdowns, return from toe injury. 49ers cruise to 41-22 win over sloppy Cardinals. Brock Purdy had barely settled into his first game back from a toe injury when he checked to the opposing defense, made a quick switch at the line of scrimmage, and then hit tight end George Kittle for a beautiful 30-yard touchdown in the corner of the end zone. Well, right now, it's back through Purdy. It's not going to be Mac Jones. Brock Purdy looked very, very good coming back from his injury. The rush from that turf toe injury looks better. Mac Jones held down the fort for them to try for them to keep pace within their division, do everything in their power to fight for a playoff spot and try to get first place because they're 2 games behind the Rams and they're a game behind Seattle for second place. So they're trying to do everything in their power to fight for that playoff spot. Now, as for the Cardinals right now, they're already on the clock, and I already have that coach getting fired by the end of this year. So I think Kyler Murray is probably going to go through another head coach and another system. So I don't know what's going to happen with them down the road, but we'll wait and see what happens. But a breakdown out of this game: Christian McCaffrey, 1-yard rush. George Kittle, 30-yard pass from Brock Purdy. Eddie Pinheiro, PAT block. Bam Knight, 6-yard rush. Christian McCaffrey, 9-yard pass from Brock Purdy. Eddie Pinheiro, PAT failed. Chad Ridley, 26-yard field goal. Eddie Pinheiro, 48-yard field goal. Eddie Pinheiro, 47-yard field goal. Eddie Pinheiro, 47-yard field goal. George Kittle, 4-yard pass from Brock Purdy. Terry McBride, 10-yard pass from Jacoby Brissett, 2-point run conversion failed. Christian McCaffrey, 4-yard rush, 2-point conversion failed. Greg Dort, 17-yard pass from Jacoby Brissett, 2-point pass failed. Leaders for the 49ers: Brock Purdy, 19-26, 200-yard, 3 touchdowns. Chris McCaffrey, 13 carry, 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. George Kittle, 6 catches, 67 yards and 2 touchdowns. Leading tackler for the 49ers was Curtis Robinson with 12 tackles and 5 solo ones. 1 second, folks. I'm going to put dynamite on. Hoping in time to fight him first. If I can get done everything, let me see. I probably can get that in. No, not Hulu. There we go. That's all I want. You know, last night I don't think I played because I fell asleep. Please, I hope to God it is not Ty J's match right now, because I'm going to be mad as fuck. Oh, look like Chelsea Hayes. Who is it? All right, her syndicate, thank God. Okay. Alrighty, look. Alrighty, we are back. So next game I got right and wrong is Ravens Browns, which I got right picking Baltimore. Mark Andrews' late touchdown lifts Ravens a 23-16 win over Browns and spoils Shedeur Sanders' NFL debut. The Baltimore ended up needing a play they called Hurricane to rally for their fourth straight win and spoil Shedeur Sanders' NFL debut. Yes, Shedeur Sanders did start. I think Dylan Gabriel did get injured in this game, so I'm going to check if that is the case. Did Dylan Gabriel get injured? Oh, yes, Dylan Gabriel did get injured. He's in concussion protocol. So it is now Shedeur Sanders, which everybody was hoping for. Shedeur almost could have pulled off the victory, but he did not, and the Ravens got the dub, which they needed because the Browns were dominating them throughout this game, and Baltimore came back, getting the win, going to 500, and they're going to need every win they can get to win their division because Pittsburgh did get that win over Cincinnati, and now it put a little bit of pressure on them to get the more wins here and see what they can do to get their division. But Baltimore got the win with Mark Andrews getting that late game-winning touchdown to get it. It was an ugly win, but a win is a win, and they are going to need it. But a breakdown out of this game, Tyler Luke, 25-yard field goal. Andre Smith, 30-yard field goal. Andre Smith's 24-yard field goal. Devin Bush, 23-yard interception return for a pick six. Derrick Henry, 1-yard rush. Andre Smith's 46-yard field goal. Tyler Luke, 24-yard field goal. Tyler Luke, 44-yard field goal. Mark Andrews, 35-yard rush. Leaders for the Ravens was Lamar Jackson, 14-25, 293 yards and 2 interceptions. Derrick Henry, 18 carries, 103 yards and a touchdown. Zay Flowers, 3 catches for 78 yards. Kyle Van Noy was the leading sacker with 1 sack, and leading tackler for the Ravens was Kyle Hamilton with 9 tackles and 6 solo ones. For the Ravens, their next opponent is on Sunday against the New York Jets. For Cleveland, their next opponent is against the Las Vegas Raiders. Next game I got right and wrong is Chiefs Broncos, which I got wrong, picking the Chiefs. Broncos beat Chiefs 22-19 on Lutz's second last field goal, extending win streak to 8 games. Will Lutz lined up for a 35-yard field goal to beat the Chiefs on Sunday and couldn't help think back to last year at Kansas City when his kick was blocked. At this time, his time expired in the same situation. I almost thought he was going to get blocked again, and this one was going to go to overtime, but it did not. And I'll apologize to all Denver fans because I thought that the win streak at the time was not believable, and you were just coming up close. But you guys got a second signature win over your division rival who's always beaten you and owned you, and it was a win that was needed to keep pace of first place, which they got the job done. Now they are on their bye week. They're going to be playing against Washington at the end of November, which is a game they should win, but we'll wait and see what happens when they play that. Now, for Kansas City, I said what I said at the end of season 2 when they lost the Super Bowl to Philadelphia, when they got their asses kicked. I said, I don't see this team making another Super Bowl, and I don't see them winning going back anytime soon. Now we're on the possibility they may not even make the playoff because this team was struggling throughout this. Mahomes threw a pick, and it wasn't enough for that Kansas City's defense to stop Denver's offense because Denver kept throwing haymakers after haymakers after haymakers. And Denver was doing this without Pat Surtain, and they've been winning these games without him. With them, they were winning on this win streak. Without him, they've been doing good. Now, eventually, when they get Pat Surtain back, this defense is going to be even more powerful. Now, the question for the Denver Broncos is how far are they going to go in the playoffs? Are they going to get first place in their division? I think they might. Now, if they sweep Kansas City on Christmas and they are able to split with the Chargers, they're looking at possibly maybe being a 1 or maybe even a 2 or maybe a 1. Maybe a 1 or a 2, but I don't know just yet. They'll be looking at a 1 or a 2 seed. But we'll wait and see what happens with Denver. But a breakdown out of this game. Will Lutz, 29-yard field goal. Will Lutz, 24-yard field goal. Harrison Butker, 31-yard field goal. Harrison Butker, 31-yard field goal. Jalen McLaughlin, 4-yard rush. Kareem Hunt, 2-yard rush. Will Lutz, 38-yard field goal. Travis Kelce, 21-yard pass from Patrick Mahomes. Patterson, Bucker, PAT block, which was the game decider. When that PAT got blocked, that literally set up the game winner for Denver to win. Will Lutz, 54-yard field goal. Will Lutz, 35-yard field goal. Leaders for the Broncos, Bo Nix, 24-37, 295 yards. R.J. Harvey, 11 carries, 30 yards. Troy Franklin, 4 catches, 84 yards. Jalen McMillan, 2 sacks. Leading tackler for the Broncos is Justin Strand with 10 tackles and 4 solo ones. Denver's next opponent is on November 30th against the Washington Commanders. As for the Chiefs, they have a tough battle against the first-place Indianapolis Colts. Next one I got right in the right and wrong is Eagles-Lions, which I got right picking Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts' lone touchdown leads Eagles to 16-9 victory over Lions in lackluster offensive game. The Eagles are positioned again to make a strong run at a Super Bowl, not solely on the arm of Jalen Hurts, the legs of Saquon Barkley, and other marquee offensive players all NFL fans know, but on a defense that has turned out a string of matches that fired them to the top of the NFC. Yeah, now, this I didn't have a problem with. Yeah, even though it was a little bit low, but it was a defensive battle that Philadelphia won very defensively, holding Detroit. And even though Detroit kept shooting themselves in the foot so many times, going for it too many times, and that literally killed them. And as I said, Jared Goff does not do good against Philadelphia. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. Are these two teams going to meet again? Maybe. There's a possibility they could meet again in the championship or maybe in a divisional, because I still think Detroit is going to win their division. I don't trust Chicago. I think Chicago will mess it up somehow, but they will still get in. Yes, they still have their weapons in Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't know if Laporte is going to play next week against the Giants, so we'll wait and see what occurred with him. The defense, they still have Anceloni and Hutchinson and Brian Branch just on that night. They did not look good in this game. But I think that they are going to bounce back against the New York Giants and get a key victory. Yeah, I will be at full gear, so this won't be like last time when I was very, very drunk when I said Detroit was going to whip their ass. And also I said that the Patriots would beat the New York Jets and the Cowboys would beat the Vikings back in 2022. And I was acting total MJF. But this time I will not. So we'll wait and see what occurs down the road when we get that game. As for Philadelphia, stacking up wins, doing everything in their power to repeat as Super Bowl champion, hold on to a 1 seed. Now, they have a tough game against their divisional opponent, which is the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. Jalen sometimes does not do very good in Dallas. He did get his win last year due to the fact that it was Cooper Rush and the defense wasn't all that good, but this is going to be a little bit different. Yes, Dak is here for this one, and Dak and Jalen do play each other to the wire. So we'll wait and see what occurs in that game. But a breakdown out of this game. Jake Elliott, 27-yard field goal. Jake Elliott, 34-yard field goal. Jameson, 24-yard pass from Jared Goff. Jake Bates, PAT, failed. Jalen Hurts, 1-yard rush. Jake Elliott, 49-yard field goal. Jake Bates, 54-yard field goal. Leaders for the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, 14-20, 135 yards. Saquon Barkley, 26 carry, 83 yards. A.J. Brown, 7 catches, 49 yards. Jalen Phillips, 1 sack. Leading tackler for the Eagles was Zach Vaughn with 2 solo ones and 7 tackles. For the Eagles, their next opponent is on Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys. For the Detroit Lions, their next opponent is against the New York Giants. And our final game in the right and wrong, which I got right, is Cowboys-Raiders, which I got right picking Dallas. How about them Cowboys indeed? The Dallas Cowboys, Honor Nealon, didn't get 4 touchdown passes from Prescott in a 33-16 win over the Raiders. The Cowboys spent 11 days mourning defensive end Marshawn Lynn before taking the field Monday night. That game was an emotional win for them because Marshawn Nealon had passed away due to mental illness. God rest his soul. And it was a win that was dedicated to him. The Cowboys did not look good on the opening drive due to Pickens and Lamb sat out that series. I think it was due to a coach's decision and like a disciplinary. But then when they got back out there, both of them dominate that game pretty well. Dak didn't look good when Max Crosby strip sacked him. And I thought, oh, here we go. The Raiders are going to pull this off, and I'm getting ready to put Raw on. But no, the Cowboys came in, punched the Raiders in the mouth, whipped the defense, getting a safety. Prescott looked good. So did Javonte Williams. So did George Pickens. So did CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson. Everybody looked good as it was. Now, the Cowboys have a tough one against the Philadelphia Eagles. And I want everyone out there to know I do not think Dallas is going to run the table and try to make the playoffs. I don't see it happening. One game does not say that you are going to make your playoff and everything is turned around. It is going to take a while for this thing to get turned around. For the Raiders, they are already on the clock, and they're going to be thinking about what to do next year. But a breakdown out of this game. Daniel Carlson, 35-yard field goal. Brandon Aubrey, 50-yard field goal. Daniel Carlson, 45-yard field goal. CeeDee Lamb, 18-yard pass from Dak Prescott. Jake Ferguson, 5-yard pass from Dak Prescott. George Pickens, 37-yard pass from Dak Prescott. Daniel Carlson, 38-yard field goal. Ryan Flanoy, 2-yard pass from Dak Prescott. Trey Tucker, 6-yard pass from Geno Smith. Donovan Ezraku, safety. Leaders for the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, 25-33, 4 touchdowns, 268 yards. Javonte Williams, 22 carries, 93 yards. George Pickens, 9 catches, 1 touchdown for 144 yards. Quentin Williams, 1.5 sacks, and Deron Bland had 10 tackles and 6 solo ones. For the Dallas Cowboys, their next game is against the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday. For the Raiders, their next game is against the Cleveland Browns. Now I'm going to make my picks for Week 12. So we have tomorrow night's game. We have the Bills and the Texans. Give me a sec here. I need to go on Caesars because that's what I'm going to be using. All right, whatever. Okay, so we're going to do that. Continue. Come on. All right, let's do this. NFL. I'm not putting that on there. Fine, whatever. Okay. There we go. So for tomorrow night's game, we have the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans. They have the Bills. I will take the Bills in this one. They've been playing good football. They bounced back from that ugly loss against the Dolphins. Got a good win over Tampa Bay. This is a game they need to try to keep pace with New England. So I say the Bills have a good game with Josh Allen using his legs and his arm, going to Cook, going to Coleman, going to Knox. I don't think Kincaid is playing. Let me check. Is Dalton Kincaid available for this game? I don't think he is. Dalton Kincaid has been rolled out, so he will not be playing. So I am going to take the Bills here. So it'll be with Knox, Coleman, Shakir, Cook, maybe Shaver, and I can see the defense getting to Davis Mills. So I will take them with the win here. So they have the Bills as 6-point favorites. I'll take the Bills with the 6 points. Over under 43. I'll say over 43. I think the Bills can put those points up on their own. Next game we have is the Indianapolis Colts and the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs fans ain't going to like what I'm going to say, but I say the losing streak continues. This is going to be a 3-game losing streak. I see the Colts getting a win here, pulling off the upset here with Daniel Jones going to Jonathan Taylor, going to Downs, going to Alec and Pittman, and I can see DeForest Buckner getting to Patrick Mahomes. They have the Colts as 3.5 underdogs. I'll take the Colts with the 3.5 underdog points. Over under 49. I'm going to take an over in this one. I can see the Colts and the Chiefs putting up points here, both of them. So I'm going to take an over. Next, we have the Steelers and the Bears. I'm taking the Steelers only for this reason right now. I think Aaron Rodgers is playing, and I think Aaron Rodgers is faking an injury, and I think he will be balling out like he did against the Cowboys in the division when he lied and said he had a calf injury. I think he is lying again, saying he has a wrist injury, and I think he's going to ball out on this one against the Chicago Bears, which he normally has owned them. Even if it is Mason Rudolph, I'll wait until I make that decision on Sunday with Joe Law. I'll wait and see what occurs. But I'm going to take the Steelers for now. They have the Steelers as 2.5 underdogs. I'll take the Steelers with the 2.5 points. Over under 45. I'm going to take an over in this one. I'll take an over because Aaron Rodgers does put up a points against the Bears. But if it is Mason Rudolph, I'll take an under. Next one we have is the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. I'll take the Packers in this one. The Packers have a good game with Jordan Love going to Josh Jacobs, going to Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson. And I can see Micah Parsons getting to J.J. McCarthy. They have the Packers 6.5 favorites. I'll take the Packers with the 6.5 points. Over under 41. I'll take an over in this one. I think the Packers will put up both those points at home. Next one we have is the New York Giants and the Detroit Lions. I'll take the Detroit Lions in this one. Detroit bounces back from that loss against Philadelphia with Jared Goff going to the 1-2 combination of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Him going to Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams. I don't know if Laporta is playing in this. I'm checking now. Sam Laporta, is he available for this game? No, Laporta will not be playing against the Giants, so he is still on injured reserve. So he won't be back until I don't know when, if he's going to be back for this Giants game. So I don't think he will be. So I don't think it's going to go to Laporta. So he won't be back just yet. So I will say the Lions still get the win, even with the defense with Aiden Hutchinson, Brian Branch, and Anceloni. So I'll take the Lions in this one. They have the Lions as 10.5 favorites. I'll take the Lions with the 10.5 points. Over under 50. I'll take an over. I think Detroit can put up those points on their own. And at home, this is a game that they should win. Next we have is the New England Patriots and the Cincinnati Bengals. I will take the Patriots in this one. Drake May's been playing outstanding football, MVP level. Like, I'm not going to say he's going to be MVP just yet, but I will take the Patriots this one with Drake May going to Trayvon Henderson, going to Stephon Diggs, Hunter Henry, and Demario Davis. And I can see that defense getting to Joe Flacco. They have the Patriots as 7-point favorites. I'll take the Patriots with the 7 points. Over under 50. I'm going to go under. I don't think it's going to hit 50. I'm going to go under. I think it may be like 48 or 49. I'm going to say under. Next one we have is the Seattle Seahawks and the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to take the Seahawks in this one. They bounce back from that heartbreaking loss to the LA Rams. They have a good game with Darnold going to Kenneth Walker III, going to Smith and Jigba and Rashid Shaheed. And I can see that defense getting to Cam Ward with sacks by DeMarcus Lawrence. Over or under 13.5. So they have the Seahawks as 13.5 favorites. I'll take the Seahawks with the 13.5 points. Over under 40. I will take the over in this one. I can see Seattle putting those points up on their own. Next we have is the New York Jets and the Baltimore Ravens. I will take the Ravens in this one. I see Lamar Jackson going to Derrick Henry, going to Zay Flowers, going to Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. And I can see the defense getting to Tyrod Taylor. They have the Ravens as 13.5 favorite. I'll take the Ravens with the 13.5 points. Over or under 44. I will take an over with this. Next we have a game where you should call 1-800-GAMBLER, the Cleveland Browns and the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to take the Browns in this one right now because I have a feeling the Raiders would fuck this up somehow. And at home, they usually don't do good. And I'm going to take the Browns. I think Shador has a good game here. Going to Quentin Junkins, and I can see Njoku having a good game, and Jerry Jeudy, and the defense getting to Geno Smith. They had the Browns as 4-point underdog. I'll take the Browns with the 4 points. Over under 36. I'm going to take an under because I think this is going to be like a Cleveland Guardians and a Oakland A's baseball game. Next one we have is the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to take the Jags in this one. I see Trevor Lawrence having a good game, going to Travis Etienne, going to Travis Hunter and Brian Tom and Jacoby Myers. And I can see Foye Oluokun getting to Jacoby Brissett. They have the Jags as 3-point favorites. I'll take the Jags with the 3 points. Over under 47. I'll take an over in this one. Next we have is the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. Much I love my team. I hate to say it. We're getting swept by the Eagles at home. I can see Jalen Hurts having a good game, going to Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. And I can see that defense, Jalen Phillips getting to Dak Prescott. They have the Eagles at 3.5 favorites. I'm going to take the Eagles with 3.5 points. Over under 47. I'll take it over because both put up points. And Jalen and Dak both put up points. I'll say this. If the Cowboys do happen to get the win, I'll apologize to them on Tuesday, but I think they're not. But I know they're not going to win any more games. I'm going to say they probably will get maybe 3. And that could be the Minnesota, the Chargers, and Washington. Those are the 3 I'll give them. But if they somehow pull this off, I'll see how it goes with Thanksgiving, how the Chiefs play, and I'll see how Dallas plays before I make a decision on that game. If the Cowboys decide to pull a fuck you game over on Kansas City. Now, if the Cowboys happen to pull a fuck you game on Philadelphia, I'll wait and see what occurs there. Next we have is the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints. Another game with 1-800-GAMBLER. I'm going to take the Saints here because Atlanta is without Penix and without Drake London. Kirk Cousins has not been looking good ever since he's been back. I'm going to take the Saints here with Tyler Show having a good game, going to Alvin Kamara and going to Chris Olave. And I can see the defense getting to Kirk Cousins. They have the Saints as 1.5 favorites. I'll take the Saints with the 1.5 points. Over under 39. I'm going to take an under here because I think this is going to turn into either – New Orleans doesn't have a baseball team or a hockey team, and Atlanta has a baseball team, some minor league baseball team in Louisiana versus the Braves. Next, we have our Sunday night game. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Los Angeles Rams. I'm going to take the LA Rams in this one with Matthew Stafford putting up MVP numbers, going to Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell, and Tyler Higbee, and Devontae Adams. And I can see Jarrett Verse getting to Baker Mayfield. They have the Rams as 6.5 favorites. I'll take the Rams with the 6.5 points. Over under 49. I'm going to take an over in this one. I can see both of them putting up points, but I still see the Rams pulling it off. And in our Monday nighter, this is actually going to be a sleeper good game because I really didn't see Carolina being this good and with a winning record. But I see this being a very good sleeper good Monday night football game. Is the Carolina Panthers and the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to take the 49ers in this one with Brock Purdy going to Christian McCaffrey, going to Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, and George Kittle, and I can see that defense getting to Bryce Young. They have the 49ers 7-point favorite. I'll take the 49ers for the 7 points. Over under 48. I'm going to take it over. I think both can put up points, and I see the 49ers pulling off the victory. Now, before we end, there might be a show later on tonight. If there is, we'll do it. If not, we'll wait till Sunday when I do it with Joe Law. Due to the fact Saturday I'm going to be at full gear. And if anybody wants to talk with me or converse with me, I'm approachable. We can talk about wrestling. We can talk about football. We can talk about the show. We can talk about AEW, anything in general. If you want to talk with me, But before I bid adieu and call it a night, it's just been enough time for talk. It's time for kickoff. I'm Dave Walker, and we'll see you on the field. Good night, everybody. Ty J wins. I'm having myself a beer.